one of the biggest misconceptions about me is that people somehow believe I'm what they would call anti-black. When people say I'm anti-black, the first thing I ask them is to define black. Because, what is that? And they don't really have an answer for that. I said, so just because I might be in your opinion, anti-black people like you doesn't mean I'm anti-black. Just because I might be anti certain aspects of what we call black culture doesn't mean I'm anti-black. I have great expectations out of us, but I just don't want to deal with the foolishness. If I really wanted to be away and monetize myself or anything else, I could jump on here and repeat the same rhetoric as YouTubers and content creators when they go into the black violence and all the other stuff that they push when you say that those are white talking points, but I don't do that. I don't grift for the attention. And I try not to put certain labels. I don't jump online and say black people are so horrible and niggas this and niggas that and niggas this. I don't do that. Because even when I speak, I try to speak out of respect because I love you. But with love comes correction. You say you want leaders. Leaders have to correct people. You have to set the record straight. You have to recognize when you're headed in the wrong direction and try to right the ship. A lot of these people that speak with discontent online, they're not leaders. They don't want to be leaders. The ones that bash black people and the ones that don't want you to tell certain truths. And I don't try to deliver my message in a way that is overly hateful or condescending. I know I may say some things that people do not agree with, but I don't go out of my way to try to be profane or anything else or overly animated, make all these faces and become a character because it's important to me. So I just speak directly from the heart. I don't even take the time. I have ideas, but a lot of times when I speak, I just sit down and speak from the heart. I don't have a script that I read off of. I do research, I take notes when I'm talking about certain things, but a lot of times I'm just sitting down talking directly. So when there's a narrative, when people say, "Oh, you hate black people," I say, "No, I don't. I have great respect, great admiration, but I grew up during a time where being black really meant something, and it's special to me." The 90s, in my belief, was like the pinnacle of black excellence. From television to music to everything. Everything just started going downhill from there. And in my mind, I'm thinking, man, we need to get back to that place. Like there's a special place in my brain I feel like we need to get back to. And we're not doing that. And when we try to make so many degenerate things part of culture, I said that's not going to help us help ourselves, and that's not going to help how other people perceive us. That's not going to help get us job opportunities. I'm well aware of the small amount of people, of the small amount of the population, I'll say, that we make up. A lot of times we move through this country and have expectations without acknowledging that we only make up about 13% of the population. Nobody has to cater to us. Nobody has to do certain things for us. There are times when, yes, we need to learn how to play the game, learn how to blend in, do what you got to do to survive. It don't make you any less than anybody else. If you go to NFL, you wear the uniform that the team gives you. You play by the NFL rules. If you don't like it, you don't got to be in the NFL. If somebody work for your job, same thing. So we got to get out of that mind state, and we got to become people that really acknowledge who we are and where we are in our society and at this point in time and what's damaging us. Okay? Stop encouraging the youth to go out there and be rebellious against what you call the system because you feel like everything's racist. The only thing that does is create more opportunities for the same people you will say benefited from white privilege. But did they really benefit from white privilege, or did they play the game the way it's meant to be played? A lot of white people do not start off with money or in any better position than you do. But you help give them a lot of opportunities with your mentality and by being away at work. I'm a man that no matter what job I've gone to, I've been able to work my way up, mostly around white people, giving me opportunities that they didn't even give other white people. How do I do that? That's what I tell you. I'm explaining to you how to move through life, how to set yourself up, and how to get in good positions. But if you want to be rebellious and expect people to change the rules to you, you're going to find yourself on the outs because there are far more white people in society that are willing to play the game the way it's meant to be played than black people, period. Both the ones that's willing to play the game and the ones that's not. So why do they have to bend their rules to you Why do they have to change their dress codes and policies to you when they have other people out there that's willing to do it? That's like as a man in dating, if I meet a woman and she's not to my standard and she's not doing the things that I ask her to do, I don't got to deal with her. I get rid of her. I get somebody else. Plain and simple. That's how celebrities move. That's how a lot of rich people move. You know what? I don't need you. I get somebody else. Somebody's willing to do it. So I don't got to bend to you. You only do that kind of stuff when you realize that you don't have a lot of options in the pool to pull from. Like in the NBA and NFL, when you get superstars, you say, hey, this is a rare talent. Okay, we can't treat this one like the rest of them. Now we got to bend to their will because they can call the shots. A lot of us are not in positions to call the shots anywhere. And as a whole in the country, we're not in position to call shots. And we don't have the frameworks to just run out there on our own and establish, a completely separate identity. So I'm trying to teach you how to survive. I'm trying to teach you how to hunt. I'm trying to teach you the laws of the jungle. Lions don't just walk around visible all the time. They're only visible when they want to be visible. When it's time to eat, you hardly see them. You won't hear them coming because they understand the laws. I might be stronger than this animal. I might be faster than this animal, but I need to use stealth. I need to walk below the grass. I need to creep. I need to be quiet because I'm trying to eat. If predators have that mentality, why don't you have that mentality? Do what you got to do to survive in the jungle to make sure that you can eat. The lion does not go running through the fields saying, hey, I'm a lion. Let me eat you. It doesn't go running through the fields, roaring and expecting the animals to just stand there and get caught. It understands that one wrong mistake could be the difference between me eating now and not eating for another 2 weeks. And they don't want to make that mistake. So you need to be that. You need to think like that. And I'm trying to teach you that. But if you want to rebel against people like me, that's fine. But don't complain when your life isn't as successful as you want it to be, or you're not getting the opportunities you feel like you deserve. Deserve is a state of mind. Go out there, do the work, understand that sometimes it won't go in your favor. It happens. Everybody that works hard to go to the draft don't get drafted, but you can still possibly land on a team. And if you land on a team, you didn't get drafted, cool. You felt like you needed to be drafted, fine. Hey, do the work. Do what they ask you to do. Work your way up the depth chart. You understand? Don't sit there and cry because you didn't get drafted and say life's not fair. And I didn't get a chance or whatever. Hey, whatever chance you get, take advantage of it. Get in the door, do what they ask you to do, work yourself in a position. Then one day you can be the man to call the shots. And a lot of times, if we don't do that, we won't be in a position to help other people like us get into better positions. Somebody has to be willing to play the game. And the crazy part is when you have somebody that's willing to play the game and we get in position to help somebody else, they don't respect it because you're trying to teach them the politics of it all. They don't respect it. And they say things like, you're Uncle Tom, you're a coon. You ain't for me. If I wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gave you a hand to get in the door, would I? I wouldn't have given you a recommendation. But one thing I'm not going to do is bust my back to get to where I am in society. And I'm giving you a hand and I'm telling you what I had to do to help myself so that you can help the next man and let you ruin that. I will destroy you myself before I let you ruin what I built and what I got going on for my family because of all the things I had to do and things I had to put up with from black people and white people. I'm not going to act like white people is the only people out there that's out to get your job. There's a lot of black people too. Stab you in the back, do you dirty. A lot of times they've been less willing to work with me than the white ones. But whatever I had to do to put myself in the position, the anger I had to hold inside, the times when people said things that I didn't agree with, and I had to say, let it be. I take it home and I'm frustrated, but I say, hey, you know what? It ain't worth it. I did not go through all of that to try to put you on and let you spit in my face by even walking in here telling them what you is and ain't gonna do in your mind. I ain't doing this. You walk in there talking about, hey, I want to be like this. They can't tell me this. They can't tell me that. I'm going to help them pack your bags and put you out. You're not going to tell me what you are or are not going to do. But let you tell it. That's exactly how you feel. I'm going to tell them what I is and ain't going to do. Then you get put out, and I already know that I had to pull strings to get you here because there were other white people or non-black people that they wanted to put in this position. I got you here. Sometimes you need to be aware of all the competition you face to get in certain positions. I promise you, you'll act different. You'll act different to be one of the chosen, because a lot of positions is just like getting drafted, less than the 1%. And it's a lot of work. And once you get drafted, the work is just starting. But that's what some of y'all are. You like that athlete that worked so hard to get drafted. They get drafted, and now all of a sudden they don't want to exercise. They don't want to practice. They don't want to adhere to the rules because they feel like I made it. But for the Hall of Famers, they never feel like they made it until their career is over. And even then, a lot of them don't feel like they made it till they put on that gold jacket. You got drafted, and you want to act like a man that's in the Hall of Fame, not respecting everything that he had to go through to make that opportunity possible for people like you. That's why I speak the way I speak. I believe in excellence. I want to see excellence, but I also understand how life is, the realities of the situation. And at most times, you're not going to be in position to call the shots. And you look at these celebrities like Cam Newton and the rest of them when they start growing their hair out and wearing all the crazy clothes and stuff. That's cool. Cam's my guy. I love him to death. I'm a big Auburn fan. I have his Heisman Trophy, newspaper, pictures, everything. But Cam can do that now. You look at Cam when he first came in the league, clean cut, suits, well-mannered. The more money he started making and the more freedom he got and the more he established himself, the more his personality started to show. And even now, Jay-Z, same thing. He didn't start growing his hair out until a certain point in time. These guys know how to play the game, and they know how to participate in the behind the closed doors politics and do what you got to do, shaking the right hands and being a chameleon, blending into the environment so that you can keep elevating and elevating and elevating. The people that's not willing to do that, they will look at that same man and be resentful. But I tell people just like this: everybody wants to be the man, but most people don't want to be the man that man had to be in order to be the man.
The truth does not require you to like nor accept it. It can be tough and uncomfortable, existing on its own merit, independent of your feelings and residing outside the frameworks of your mind. For some, the truth is freedom, and to others, confinement.